So right now, energetically, everything that we are perceiving takes place in these upper energy centers, fifth, sixth, and seventh chakra, and nothing makes sense. And when things don't make sense, when our center, our heart center, cannot really align to this, when we are caught in a dissonance, or when we are in this confusion about what is true to myself, who am I in this, we often make mistakes. Well, welcome everybody to our weekly energy update. My name is Jona Bryndis. I'm an energy coach, energy healer, and I'm guiding you through the craziness of collective energies, discussing some tips, and in this case, the upcoming energies for next week. That is the 28th of August till the 3rd of September. We do this on Skype live every day, coming together, discussing energies and meditating together. And I'm very proud to announce that I'm bringing this to another level. Starting September 4th, we are going to have daily energy prayers on YouTube live at 11:30 a.m. Eastern US time. Welcome to September energies. Yes, you hear the background noise here. There's a lot going on the outside and on the inside. And if you are energetically sensitive, like most of us here, then you probably felt this wave coming over you in the last couple of days. Something like a heaviness or a sluggishness or motivationlessness. This was something that these powerful full moon energies of last weekend brought in. And I'm only saying this for you to know that you're not alone. This isn't necessarily you. This doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. You got to understand that there is a lot of collective fears, collective uncertainty right now that is affecting us in this unseen, invisible way. Yes, Cindy, so tired but can't sleep. That sums it up, I suppose. So a big part of our challenge right now is to work with this, is to not succumb to our fear, is to not let ourselves get dragged down by the unknown. The unknown is basically the biggest challenge for our ego. And our job here right now, moving into a more self-responsible, self-motivated, and also self-mastered way of living, way of life force going through our body, and us becoming able to utilize this, is to overcome our resistance toward uncertainty, toward the unknown. So right now, energetically, everything that we are perceiving takes place in these upper energy centers, fifth, sixth, and seventh chakra, and nothing makes sense. And when things don't make sense, when our center, our heart center, cannot really align to this, when we are caught in a dissonance, or when we are in this confusion about what is true to myself, who am I in this, when we're trying to make sense of things, we often make mistakes. And these mistakes are, number one, as many of you know, we're trying to find guidance from the outside, and that's normal, and we all have a certain level of need for information, and we go look for information. The only problem is our own bias. All right, so we're trying to see signs in everything. We're trying to reconfirm our own, what we are convinced of, or what our own beliefs are. And we're trying to give this meaning according to that. And that isn't working right now. So the only thing that can help you resolve this is that you come to terms with the fact that there is no solution right now, and that we just have to go through whatever it is that we're going through at this very moment, be it severe issues with weather changes, wildfires, floods, earthquakes, be it humanitarian crises, be it, political crises, be it, the global health situation. We're gonna have to come to terms with this. We don't need to give up. We don't need to succumb. We need to surrender to the fact that there is no one there who has the answer. And this is where we make the second mistake. We're looking for answers. And even if we are inclined to go inside, we're trying to find answers inside. And the problem with that is that if we are already in a dissonance, if we are already in resistance to uncertainty, we cannot find the answers, even though the answers are always there, which is a big part, as you know, of all this work that I'm doing, is helping people with tools to connect within and to connect with this inner guidance. And we cannot find this if a part of our energy is basically in front of ourselves or behind or next to ourselves. So if we are externalizing this power to actually deal with what is going on and seek answers on the outside, we are not going to find something that can give things a true meaning. We will have to come to the solution or to the conclusion that there is no sense in things and that it's not really worth living, which of course is not the purpose of life, right? The purpose of life is to actually live life and not to have a fix or to survive it or to have some kind of textbook, all right, according which we have to, manage our everyday life situation. The purpose of life is to actually go through it and form our inner contextualization and form our inner insights around this and to learn how to embody them. And if we miss that, we can get caught in repeats. This is where most of you guys' understanding of karma comes in. So our job is really to recognize what is, to internalize this and come up with our own rendering of how to best do this, how to step into self-responsibility and self-mastery. And if we don't do that, then these lessons keep repeating. So our job is to say no to the things that are not conducive to our health, to our growth, to our expansion, to bringing ourselves into the higher expression. And those are not some kind of outside external type of goals. Those are things that you can feel within. You feel this within in form of a calling, all right? And fulfillment, basically the feedback from your life, that informs you that you're actually living your life's purpose, your soul purpose. Fulfillment can only come if we step into this self-responsibility, if we say yes to ourself, to our version of life, of living our life, of managing the life force that flows through us. We get this for free, for the purpose of fulfilling whatever it is that we feel is part of our promise to ourself, to our soul self, and to the divine, really. So the third mistake that we're making is that we're literally asking the wrong questions. We're asking how to resolve problems or how to get relief for pain or how to not experience certain things. A major problem in success coaching, because when we experience pain or loss, we have a tendency, or our ego mind has a tendency to focus on not wanting that loss, not wanting that pain, which unfortunately energizes it. And the answers that we can get when we focus on what we don't want, do not point us into the forward direction. They do not point us into growth and expansion. They point us into a sort of a backward motion, back into our childhood trauma, back into, all the things that we have been dealing with all our lives. They steer us back into repeat. And our job here really, as these phenomenal human beings that have that power to come up with our own renderings, our own insights, our own versions of things, that have this ability to evolve and correct and go into feedback and interact. Our job is to find the right questions. And the right question, when you understand the bigger picture of how life works, can only have to do with how can I bring myself into this higher expression? How can I say yes to myself without running into all of these ego traps? Yeah. How can I get myself, my ego, out of the way? That is the only question worth asking. All right. What can I do for myself right now to raise my energy, to get out of that sluggish, tired, self-defeating place? Yeah. So our big job right now is to become more aware of, how life flows through us, how to manage that. We had an energy talk on Wednesday about managing our energies and the components, the body, mind, and emotion that are sort of operating here on this dense 3D level, and then the spirit and the energy, the unseen part that are operating on these multidimensional aspects of ourselves, how to bring this together. Only self-responsibility, and with it, self-mastery, can really lead to us feeling purpose, feeling meaning, and ultimately also fulfillment in life. Yeah. So understand that a lot of the challenges that we're facing right now, that they have to do with some kind of autoimmune disease. The autoimmune component of that is that some aspects of our own system, they are somehow steering against ourselves. So we're eating ourselves up from within, especially with our mind. And the reason why our mind, our thoughts do this is because they're going rogue. We have no answers. And so it just goes all over the place. I think you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. You're laying in bed and you're tired and you really want to go to sleep, but all you can do is think of all the problems, everything from the nitty-gritty to Afghanistan or coronavirus and all that. And that is what basically sort of is that autoimmune response here, where you go in against yourself instead of making that one choice where you choose, where you decide to shift this right here and right now. And some of the aspects that are coming in next week that make it even harder for us, all right, is that we are starting as this, aware person, we are starting to feel something like the desperation, the pain of the world. We are beginning to go into a place where just looking at news, just hearing other people's stories keeps on triggering this autoimmune malfunction in us, where we are, becoming a sponge for the pain of the world. Guys, especially you who are empathic, you have to be very, very disciplined here not to absorb the pain of the world. The pain in the world has always been there. And to make sense of why this is there, why God allows these things, all these tragedies that we can hear other people report about, they've always been there. We've just not been connected as much that we are actually able to see what happens beyond our fence. So that part is the same as it was, 100 years ago, 500 years ago. But the problem right now is that we have become so influenced by what is going on the outside that we forget to take care of our side of the fence. And we can get pulled into our, what we call here in energy work, unhealed healer syndrome, trying to focus on fixing others instead of going within, trying to make sense of what other people think or how they see the world or how they see life, instead of going within and reminding ourselves of the true purpose that we came here for. And I know that so many people, so many of us get stuck in this place. I don't know what my purpose is, okay? And therefore I don't know what to do. It's the other way around, guys. Do not ask what is my purpose. Do it the other way around. Learn to ask the right questions. How can I feel my purpose better? How can I learn to trust in my inner guidance better? How can I energize myself that I learn to overcome my fears, whether it be fears around my health, fears around my relationship, fears around my mental, my sanity, around the future. This is what you need to hone into. You need to get yourself back into sync with life. And instead of focusing on the pain that you are experiencing here through the news, through other people, which inadvertently triggers your resistance to this pain, focus on what this can help you overcome. It's a very, very important lesson in self-mastery to understand two things. Number one, without you experiencing enough pain, you don't have motivation to change. And when you experience pain, to actually utilize it and see it as a door and not a hole. See it as an opportunity to grow, and grab that opportunity and go with it. Because quite frankly, your chances of making it, are higher if you step into self-responsibility and come up with a version of life with like managing your own life force energy by yourself, than relying on older type of things that are maybe not in sync with your own purpose and your own, meaning of life. Is very, very important. So here are a few practical tips for you for this next week and in general to overcome this mind fog, to overcome this autoimmune, this pseudo solution in your head, right? That is basically suggesting to you that the only way to stay safe or to make it is to go with the herd, or to go with what other people do. That forces you to externalize your powers. I got very practical tips for you. First is body love, and we talk a lot about this here at transCODES. This has to do with you recognizing that your body, first and foremost, is a miraculous creation. It is, from my perspective, the highest evolutionary upgrade or version of a 3D life on this planet, which means that everything, including our immune system, our digestive system, our respiratory system, our vascular system, is a phenomenal miracle. And the best way to really manage our own life and our own life force is to support that which is so genius and miraculous, to support your own system, and not just doing this based on fear of getting sick, for example, or of having, sort of aches and pains, but based on really seeing your body as this wonderful tool, this wonderful vehicle that you have, and to go into rhythm with it more. Females, women have a little higher tendency to do this. And so it's more natural for us to tune into this just due to our biological functions. But for men, it's really, really important right now to do the same. And speaking of these masculine and feminine energies, we all have them inside of us. We need both. On a spiritual level, there really is no distinction between male and female. But there still is the composition of masculine and feminine energies. And so ideal body love has a lot to do with you figuring out where you're standing here. Am I, in my 3D life, am I favoring masculine expressions? Then when it comes to your body love, you might want to go into a more softer, more feminine approach, yeah? Things that have to do with grooming, with self-care, with giving yourself more time, with giving yourself more patience, nurturing, these kind of things. So body love is not just what you do with your body. Body love is more or less the attitude that you have towards your body and the coherence with, the consciousness in this body, okay? The you perceiving your own body. The second thing is the things that you can do with this body. And there's a huge factor here that has to do with nutrition and exercise, as you know. This isn't about longevity. This isn't about anti-aging. This isn't about, looking great. This is about you actually being able to enjoy your body, to enjoy this beautiful expression, this higher expression of nature. And here you're going to have to understand that there are certain rhythms here. That one of the most important rhythm is the cleaning, the clearing process, the cleansing on a cellular level. That has to happen every day. It's a non-brainer for us to take a shower every day because of the residues of metabolism and life force and so forth. They're sticking with us, and the same happens on the inside. So nutrition and composition of things that you surround yourselves and put in, that you ingest, always needs to have a really, really big sort of clearing component to it. It's not just enough to look at what you put in. You also need to look at the rhythms of allowing it to come out. Okay, so in my personal experience, and this has nothing to do with a nutritional diet or anything like that, the best way to eat is really to leave enough time between meals so that your body can actually digest it properly. Don't eat food on top of undigested food in your stomach, because it really makes everything harder for your body. Your body is going to get it done, but there is a lot that it accumulates in the digestional tract that never really got cleared outright. It's just, like with your house. Okay, obviously it also depends on what you eat. There are certain things about fruits and vegetables. They bring in lots of enzymes that help your digestive system, that help your body to absorb the building blocks, the nutrients that it needs. And so, we're always coming back to as natural as possible, as raw as possible, whether you, add meat to it or not, a fish or animal products. That's a different discussion. But as far as your body is concerned, variety really is the key. I teach the kids to eat rainbow colors every day. Yeah, you want to eat something of each color. That's just a simplified way for the kids to align themselves to diversity and not just eating, prepackaged white, brownish, grayish food, okay? The enzymes and the power of nature is actually in the colors from a biochemical point of view. Connection with yourself is the third practical tip. You know this, you hear me say this over and over again, but connection with yourself isn't just about sitting there and umming and doing mudras. Connection with yourself is like an inner review. It's something that you should do right in the morning when you wake up. Yeah, first, is like, okay, where am I? How am I feeling? Report to yourself. This has a lot to do with your emotional well-being, because if you're noticing that you're not actually in a good state, it's okay. Just admit that to yourself. Adjust. Yeah, adjust what it is that you need at this moment. Tune into your unmet needs. And tip number 4 is actively working your consciousness. One of the biggest issues we have through our ego mind, through our body mind, is that we get pulled into the survival mode that I talked about last week. And survival mode always puts you onto autopilot. It makes you fall asleep. It makes your consciousness fall asleep. And so the most practical tip that I can give you in regards to consciousness work is to first and foremost add these moments of self-awareness. Yes, I am awake. Yes, I am here. Yes, I am. And this can be done very easy through breathing techniques, through tapping, through things where you squeeze your butt cheeks or stomp your foot, just reporting to yourself that you're here and that you're awake. It's a very, very important discipline. Okay, all that said, guys, next week is tricky and it will continue to be this way. Incoming September energies, basically confirming what we are already feeling. Energies will be shifting on a daily basis. We need to be flexible. We need to be adaptable and not take things too personal. You can only make meaning of life through seeing it in context, in relational context with the outside and with others. And one of the most beautiful connections that we can build is with like-minded, with trusted people, because there we can connect on this unspoken level. And by doing things together, even if that's restricted, but eye contact and honesty with another, we can do this in the best way. So heads up for all of you guys, don't get pulled into the pain of the world. A quick note to all of you listening from Germany, there is a very interesting energetic pattern here in the German-speaking countries, but specifically in Germany, Sunday and Monday. I'm not saying this is bad, okay? I'm assuming this has something to do with the crisis in Afghanistan, but this will have a big impact on some of the political arena and some of the things that are going on in your country here till the end of September. So all I'm saying is pay attention, be present as much as you can, guys. Avoid autopilot as much as you can, because when you go into autopilot, all your autoimmune stuff starts fighting against you. All right, lots and lots of words. This concludes the end of the energy update here for this next week, 36. We have a few minutes maybe to tune into your comments or your experiences before we go into this experience, the inner experience of ourselves. Yes. Okay, guys, migraine headaches, I am very prone to them as well, and I am experiencing them as well. Very, very heavy the last few days, like you, Julianne. Obviously, there can be medical or physical reasons for this, but when it comes in a time like this, and knowing that you're energetically sensitive, remember what I said at the beginning of the energy forecast for next week. It's super heavy here on your upper chakras. What we need to do is go in sync, which means we need to ground more, we need to center more to bring this out of these heavy overlay fixation here in and around the head. Headaches are always a sign, unless you have a medical condition, like such as dehydration. In my experiences, causes headaches in 75% of the cases. But if it's not dehydration, it's a sign that you are stuck in that place where you're trying to find a solution and you can't. It's basically an overload here. There's other reasons that we can experience migraine or pains around our sixth chakra, our third eye chakra, that have to do with outer etheric energies, this etheric overlay that I am reporting about frequently is very strong right now, and there's things really that are affecting us on this etheric level in a way that we will find ourselves needing to ward this off. Okay, so the fear is really counterproductive here. If you feel like you're hearing voices, if you feel like you're getting pulled, you're getting coerced into things, all right, everything that I said today will help you to alleviate this head pressure. Actual migraine, once there is a certain point that you've crossed, when you get nauseous and really sensitive to light, the only thing that actually works is darkness and silence. And really take that time, prioritize that, because you won't be able to operate in your full capacity until you actually go into the stillness, until you go into something that deprives all the outer stimuli so that you can hear yourself again. I hope this helps, Julianne. Yeah. But always make sure that you drink enough water, guys. Dehydration is number one cause for headaches. And when we get into this autopilot, right, when we get into this sort of running around like fire put or auto mode, we often forget these simple things like drinking water. Yeah. Feels like the fear of all the problems in Afghanistan. Yes, guys, you have to understand that it's no good for you to burden yourself with the problems that are going on in a country really, really far away. There are obviously bigger cycles here, and this has been going on for 2 decades and longer. Okay, there is no crisis right now. It just occurs to be, just on top of everything else. But there is also a big distractive factor in that. Okay, if you feel a call for activism, if you feel the call to help with something, August and September are really, really good months to go into this, like, what can I do to help with things, but in a practical way, or support other people's causes. Yeah, getting out of the city into nature helped. Yes. There is a lot of drain. Yes, it helped to drain these head energies. Yes, going into nature grounds a lot. And as we've learned on Wednesday, it also aligns you to a higher vibratory energy. So when it comes to people and everyday life, if you're surrounded by people who are afraid, who constantly talk about how bad everything is and how bicker, who bicker all day long, you're aligning yourself to a lower vibratory energy. This is not a judgment about these people, but everybody who gets pulled into this fear, into this mind fog, is somebody who basically adds to this global collective low pressure area. Yes, connecting with nature always helps. And you can also bring nature to you, if you cannot walk, or if there's other reasons why, weather maybe or whatever, for you, that make it impossible for you, then bring nature into your house. Even just a planted pot or a bouquet of flowers can bring this into your life. All right, guys, let's move on to the internalized part of this experience. I'm going to turn myself off so that we can listen to step 7 of the sacred self-healing experience. Thank you, wonderful souls. Take this time in the weekend to go calm, to go within, to ask yourself, what must I refrain from? And follow these practical tips. Body love, clearing, connecting with yourself, and reporting to yourself that you are awake, that you are aware. I see you next Wednesday. Those of you who would like to get in deep clearing here for September energies and a reading for what this month might bring in for you personally, check out the energetic tune-up tomorrow night. I'm in the last minute sign up phase for this cellular deep clearing and live reading session tomorrow night. We're gonna have an interesting ride together here in September. So thank you for trusting and hope to see you soon.